Never to say she can't choke, she don't know what to do.
She's gotta go. Bye. I know that you love this flow. We just chillin', we just villains. We just chillin', we some villains.
I love it up, get the ammo and I stick it up. I grab shots on the top of shots. I bust the clip and I let it dip. I make it poop, make it explode. Touch your toes, hit your nose. Can you touch your toes? Simon telling you what to do. Follow my commando, hit in the bando, tap in the bando, not like a Rambo. Rocky, Sylvester, Solo. I'm telling you, I get this money even on my own.
On his own, Apollo Creed. Yeah, we a different breed.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. I am your host, Brian Barnaby, and I am joined in studio by our super producer, Mike. What's going on, bro?
Hey, everybody. If you're looking at my shirt right now, it looks all like we're in the garden over here, but it's actually a Power Ranger shirt. It's green. It's the wrong day to wear green, even though it was the right day to wear green, right, Barnes?
Yeah. I mean, you're repping for St. Patty's Day. That's what you got to do. So,
Barnes, where is everybody?
I know, but we do have a couple of the boys joining us via FaceTime. First, we got Gino. What's up, Gino?
What's up? How's it going, guys? Good to be back again. Another day this week.
Good to have you here. Wasn't sure if we were going to get you, so always good to have you on.
Dude, where's Grasso, though?
And Grasso is going to join us via FaceTime as well.
Oh,
yo.
Wow. Whoa, what's going on?
What's up, guys?
Ready to jump right into it on this St. Patrick's Day, and interesting night in the NBA. And we'll start with probably the most, one of the most entertaining games last night. Sixers 99, Knicks 96. Now that just sounds weird. Two teams going under 100 this day and age. Close game. Knicks had the lead at half, 56-48. They led after three quarters, 82-73. But in the end, the Sixers in the fourth quarter, they outscored them 26-14. And as always with our Knick games, we start with Mike with a little breakdown here. What'd you see? What happens?
Alrighty then. What I saw is, like I said earlier, is I predicted it that the Knicks would hold them under 100. What I didn't predict is a run at the end by the shorthanded Sixers. But like my man Kendrick Perkins said today on 98.7, them boys in Philly ain't messing around. And dude, they're not. And they what's funny? The Nets should be worried about Philly, I think, going forward for real. And this is just the journey for a young team in the Knicks. It's not a big deal. At least we didn't get blown out. That's what we don't want to happen, and it's not happening. That's a top team. That's what we're striving to be. You learn, you progress, and you go forward. What do you think, Grasso?
Yeah, I mean, for the Knicks to lose that game, you kind of expected them to lose. The Sixers are one of the best teams in the NBA. This game was close. Like the Knicks held their own. They pretty much were the better team for three quarters, even into the fourth quarter. But Tobias Harris proved to be the best player on the floor last night. And I don't know what your boy Tibbs was doing, but why is Reggie Bullock guarding Tobias Harris down the stretch? That had me a little confused there because Tobias Harris just bullied him.
I think Bullock is like a two-way player, Grasso. I don't get it.
Yeah, like if that's who you're putting on the other team's best player, then you got to make a move or something because you need some more defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was a little crazy. I mean, you'd think Knox would maybe even give him a better shot in that situation, but
definitely,
dude.
Knox. We're going to be preaching the Knox train till he gets traded.
Yeah, something. I see it happening. And, speaking of Tobias Harris, I heard great game last night, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 6 from deep. And he declared to the crowd that he's an all-star, shouted it to them. And, I think he honestly, the way he's been playing, he deserves it. I mean, his numbers are great this year. So I was once again, impressed by him. And Seth Curry, like we've talked about many times, adds 20 points. So all good in Philadelphia for the Sixers as they wait, for Embiid to recover from this injury. Gino, what did you see in this matchup?
Well, the Knicks, like you guys have said, the Knicks played really well in this game for the most part. Matched. If you look at the numbers, they're basically even down the line. Except for where points in the paint come in, and the Knicks actually led in points in the paint, took advantage of Embiid not being there. But if you look at one stat that stands out to me, the Knicks shot 63% from the free throw line. Now, they made the same amount of free throws as the 76ers did, but they actually took 3 more. So, if they can, you hit 75% of your free throws, this game probably at least goes to overtime. But again, you're right. It's, they down the stretch, they did not perform well, but I think we all expected at least to see some competitiveness out of this Knicks team in this one. But honestly, I don't know if I even expected this. I would have expected it if the Sixers won and it was a close game, it would have been, a little more high scoring, but the Knicks defense stepped up again. And this team is starting to prove that they have the tools to compete here in the East, even with the best of the best.
And a missing D Rose is a big thing, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going up against a big, juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
And all those things you mentioned are just typical of young teams. Blowing late game leads, missing free throws when you need them. That's just going to come with time. Like the guys, they're going to start making their free throws and not turning the ball over. They just need more experience. That's something you can't buy that in the NBA. It'll come for the Knicks. They're in a great spot.
Yeah, and I think just before you move forward, Barnes, I think the other thing is I think Randall had like 17 points in the middle of the third or something like that. He didn't really score too much down the stretch from what I remember. So obviously, I'm sure they would have expected a little bit more production out of him, but still had 6 guys in double figures. So they're spreading the scoring out. They're playing good defense. That's some keys to victory.
And Tobias Harris, damn sure should have been an all-star. Think about how many other players in the NBA could score efficiently from 3 levels. There's really only a few. I mean, Durant, obviously. Chris Middleton does it well. McCollum does it. Maybe you could throw Kawhi and LeBron into that, but there's not that many players that score at 3 levels like that. Tobias Harris is one of them.
Yeah, no,
he's worth every penny of that supposedly bad contract.
This year, he's really improved his 3-point shooting. I mean, he's over 40%. I didn't expect him to be that efficient from 3. So that's been impressive.
Last time he was over 40% was when he was playing in LA for Doc Rivers.
Yeah, so that
Doc knows how to use them.
Absolutely. And then, for the Knicks, they're going to actually get a chance for revenge. They play the Magic, and then they'll play the Sixers again. So, they would hope maybe, Rose comes back and they have a shot to get the revenge there. And then 2 against the Wizards. So, I mean, you look at, obviously, the Sixers matchup will be tough again, but they can win those 3 games. That'll be big, going forward, trying to get as many wins as you can to get a solid playoff position down the stretch. So, be interesting to see if they can take advantage of that. And the way they played this season, you would expect so. On to another game from last night, and really went the way I think we all kind of thought. Blazers 125, Pelicans 124, close, just like the last time they played. But the whole key here is Magic Mike predicting the 50 burger for Lillard.
50 burger.
Game-winning free throws at the line, 10 assists. I mean, this guy is just ridiculous.
I'm Mr. Mac. All right. And I don't predict it always, but I got that one on the ball. And Dame Dollar 50 Bird looked like a young me out there. You know what I mean? Getting the buckets, doing what he's got. But honestly, I know Gross is going to talk more about it. It was impressive that they did it. Well, that he did it being down so much late.
Yeah, no. I mean, the comeback that they made, the Pelicans were up 14 at halftime, 13 points after the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, the Blazers, outscored them 43-29. And Lillard, really carried them. And then as a team, they made 18 3-pointers, shot 41%. Anytime you get that type of efficiency, that's going to be huge down the stretch. So really impressive win here for the Blazers. What did you see, Grasso? What stood out to you?
Well, I mean, I think it started about 117 to 100. The Pelicans were up, and then Lillard just decided that it was his game. He took over. Melo sprinkled in a nice 3 in there, but Lillard really did everything. I mean, there was even one play he got in on the offensive glass, kicked it out to Gary Trent for a 3, and then came down. That was pretty much a game winner. I know he got fouled. It wasn't as dramatic as a game winner, but it really was. I mean, Damian Lillard, he's the best point guard in the NBA, top 5 player in the NBA, in my opinion.
What about you, Gino? What did you see here?
Well, again, I'll go back to the free throws. It's not often that a team gets 31 free throws and makes all of them, so that definitely helps. Going 31 for 31 from the line, that's impressive. But, I mean, just to start with the Pelicans, they put up a good effort. Again, defensively down the stretch, they weren't good enough, especially on Dame. They held everybody else except for maybe Gary Trent Jr., who had 22. But, Lonzo Ball was a fantastic facilitator in this game, 17 assists. So they had, again, they're another team who lost the game, by slim margins by 1 possession, but had 6 guys in double figures. They had 56 points in the paint. This Pelicans team is good. It's just the defending down the stretch. And like you said, Grosso, I mean, Damian Lillard is the best point guard in the league right now. He is on fire, and he was just phenomenal again last night. And honestly, when Mike said 50 last night, obviously I think we all took it as a joke, but it's crazy that Dame can do that on any given night. And it's really not as much of a joke when you think about it.
Yeah, I know. No, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say you could just say it, and it could happen any night.
Yeah, any given night. And just to keep the theme of free throw shooting rolling, Brandon Ingram makes 1 free throw. The Pelicans win this game. So,
yeah, no, it's definitely a tough loss for them. And, they're offensively, like we said, they did a great job. Zion, another 28 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Ingram drops 30. They shoot 52% from the floor, 48% from 3 on 16 makes. So the offense was there, but it's just that defense down the stretch. I think that's what's cost them. And we've seen them blow some games, other times this season. And it's just like, if they could just shore that up, they would be so much a better team.
Yeah, and that's going back to just like the Knicks, the youth. You don't have the experience to close out the games. We see it so much throughout the NBA. But just one more point about the Pelicans. I love how they've been playing Jackson Hayes now over Willie Hernan-Gomez. Like, Hernan-Gomez is just – obviously he's just like a roster filler. Jackson Hayes is like the center of the future for that team. So he's a little skinny. He's a little young still, a little raw, but he needs some playing time to get better, right? So –
Crazy.
Big shout out to the Hook'em centers there. Jackson Hayes and Jared Allen have both been really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also Hart and Alexander Walker, had some nice contributions as well. Yeah. So when you get that type of scoring, it's just crazy that they couldn't get it done. But you need that defense down the stretch. And then it was nice to see. I mean, obviously he didn't have a great game, but McCollum get through a game, no problems, had 10 points, didn't shoot it well, but just getting out.
I actually predicted that as well.
Yeah, you did. And I think
Mystic
we'll
Mike
move on that for sure. So
might have to change my gamer tag.
Yeah.
Looking forward to see, him get better and better as he, makes his return and gets more comfortable. And then, on to tonight, we got a couple good games, and we'll start again. Actually, the Sixers, they're going to be hosting the Bucks, and both teams, of course, are playing well. 4 straight wins for the Bucks, 9-1 in their last 10. This is the first meeting between these teams this season, and of course, it would figure that Embiid is out when they play, because I would have loved to see, Embiid and Giannis, battling it down low.
Did you see his quotes today? Did you read his quotes in the Instagram world? Have you heard those?
What do we got?
He's just saying like how he loves destroying other players and telling them that he owns them. That like he loves doing that.
With Giannis?
No, Embiid.
No,
okay.
I wanted to see him go at Giannis.
Yeah. Oh, geez. That really would have been a great matchup. But obviously, I'm sure we'll see it, another time this season. And, I'm sure, like you said, they'll have Simmons on them. But I think, this is a great opportunity for the Bucks. We've seen them take care of business against the teams that aren't as good, but then when they play a quality opponent like this, not do as well. But when
they get the yips,
when you have him beat out, I mean, that's as good of a chance as you're going to get. So my whole thing is here. I'm very impressed with the Sixers. Like I've said, I think they can challenge, the Nets in the Eastern Conference. But my whole thing here is, is Simmons enough to guard Giannis? I mean, is that a blueprint that's going to work?
I think it is if you put Dwight Howard right behind Simmons. You need two guys to guard Giannis. You put Simmons on him, just a little pressure before he gets into the paint, and keep Dwight Howard in the paint waiting. I think that's enough right there. Make Giannis build that wall with those two guys. Ben Simmons is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate this year. I think he's one of the best guys we got. Put him right on Giannis. It's going to be tough for him.
What do you think, Gino?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think back to when we watched the Sixers play Dallas. I think if Simmons meets him, as soon as he crosses that half court line and kind of puts pressure on him right away, I think that's going to cause Giannis some trouble, especially if you put Dwight Howard behind him. So I think like Grasso said, it's not going to be just a one-man job. I think you're going to need a couple guys to contain him. And if the matchups work and Giannis is in sometimes without Simmons, he's probably going to get his. And I would imagine Giannis still probably gets 25 points tonight anyway. But I would agree that Ben Simmons has been one of the best defensive players this year. And I think that, he can really, disrupt anybody's game. And I wouldn't doubt that he can do it again tonight against the Bucks.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And I think the key is, like you said, I mean, Giannis is going to get his, and it's amazing. His numbers this year, I don't think it's talked about enough. Everybody knows he's really good, but the fact, besides averaging 29 points per game, 11.7 rebounds, 6.2 assists, 1.4 blocks, and 1.3 steals. So he's just doing it all over the court and really one of the greatest players, we see out there on a nightly basis. So the key for them is going to be, he's going to get attention down low. So they're shooters, they're playmakers, Middleton, DiVincenzo, Forbes, them knocking down perimeter shots. I think that's the key for the Bucks, here to get a victory. But I do think this is going to be a very close game. And the Sixers, despite Embiid being out, they're still tough at home. They're 18-3 on the season. So I think, this is going to be a tough matchup. What are your guys' picks here tonight? And we'll start with Grasso.
I think the Sixers are going to pull this game off. I think the biggest struggle they're going to have is keeping pace with the Bucks. The Sixers don't score the ball that well when they don't have Embiid, and we know the Bucks can put up points quick. They're just going to have to do a good job containing Giannis. But Tobias Harris needs to have another great night, and he needs to put this team on his back and lead and play that high pick and roll when they need baskets. And I think he's going to do that. And Seth Curry's on fire recently. He's going to keep it up. I got the Sixers.
Who do you have, Gino?
Surprisingly, I think I'm going to go with the Bucks in this one, which I don't normally pick the Bucks, but I just think that, we often say that Simmons has been playing a little bit better without Embiid, but with Giannis in that lane, it's going to be hard for him to get in that lane and really make a difference in there. Like Grasso said, it's probably going to have to be largely Tobias Harris. And I'm not sure that the Sixers without Embiid can keep up with the Bucks in this one. They're playing well, Drew Holiday, Giannis, they've got guys there that can make a difference. But again, it's not going to be a big deficit. It's not going to be a blowout or anything like that. But I think the Bucks win this one without Embiid on the floor.
Who do you got, Mike?
Ben Simmons 40-piece Sixers.
Is that the lock of the night or no?
That better not be the lock of the night.
I have the lock of the night for me. For me at least.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bucks, and I definitely would take the Sixers if Embiid was in there, but I think that's just going to make the difference, and Giannis is going to have one of his big games, and I think it'll be close. I think it'll be within 5 points, but I think this will be a big win for the Bucks if they can pull this off and, just keep shooting up those standings. And obviously an important game for the Sixers. They're one game ahead of the Nets, so that's going to be a race that's going to come down to the wire, and I'm, looking forward to watching it. And then on to another game tonight. We have the Clippers traveling to Dallas. And the Clippers actually won this matchup on Monday, 109-99. So they get the rematch tonight. The Clippers, had lost 4 of 5 prior to that win. So that was a big win for them. And they're looking to get another one here tonight. It looks like Ibaka and Beverly might be out. We've seen Paul George, the 3 games since the break, 17, 15, 15, and hasn't shot better than 35%. So He's not right. So that's obviously an area of concern for the Clippers. Dallas on the other side, they're 7-3 in their last 10. Luka and KP are rolling. So, the momentum is on their side. What do you guys see in this matchup?
Start with me because, Gino's going to give we got to give Gino his elaborate Dallas Mavericks coverage.
I hate you. Like, we don't talk about the Knicks in elaborate coverage every single day. Like, come on.
Listen, it's different because you guys have been relevant since Dirk's third year.
Fair. That's
so we haven't been relevant since then, actually. So that's funny. That's ironic. So this is going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a close game. But I have a feeling, and I'm not going to say it right now, but I have a feeling that someone on this court is going to go off, and I'm not going to say who until the end, until we make our picks.
Okay. All right.
I'll let Grosso go now.
What do we got, Grosso?
I think this is going to be a tough game too. I don't have any faith in the Clippers, but I do think they're going to win tonight. I think they got to win some games, and I think Kawhi is going to go off tonight.
Okay.
What?
Keep going, Grosso.
What?
My bad. Could you just say that one more time?
There was a delay.
Yeah,
there was a lag. We couldn't hear you.
I know, and I kept hearing something in my ear. So, where are we?
You were saying Kawhi is going to go off. I think
you have faith.
Clippers.
You have no faith, but you have faith.
I have no faith in the Clippers in the long term. Let's just say that. I think tonight they're going to win. I think Kawhi is going to go off. He's going to have a big night, and on the other side of the ball, he's going to shut down Luka. I don't really have much faith in myself saying that, but that's what I'm going with.
And
come on, Clippers.
What do you see here for your in-depth analysis?
In my in-depth analysis, so obviously the Clippers won the matchup on Monday by 10. The Mavs had pretty good control over that game, or at least were in that game for 3 of the 4 quarters, very similarly to how the Knicks and the Sixers game went. KP has been phenomenal, apparently, since I haven't been able to watch too many of the games, but all the reporters are saying he's looked really, really good, which is ideal. I think the Mavericks can win this game. I actually do think the Mavericks can win this game. Like you said, I don't think Paul George is right now. It's going to come down to containing Kawhi. They played really well the other day, and if they play as well as they did the other day, just for 4 quarters instead of 3 quarters, I think this is a win for Dallas.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with you. Nothing positive I can take from the Clippers of recent, and even Kawhi. He hasn't looked bad, but he also hasn't been dropping these 30, 40-point games regularly. He's been more kind of low to mid 20s, getting his rebounds and assists. So I feel like that's the only thing you can count on, and then occasionally Reggie Jackson, he'll have a decent game. And Zubac, 10 and 10 at best.
Zubac.
So
yeah,
I just
none of these guys are doing it.
There's a lot to be excited about, and I love what I see. Luka's triple doubling, scoring at least 20 every single night, and Porzingis is shooting from 40 feet like no problem. Doesn't even need to jump. It's like I like watching Dallas, and Brunson's been playing well, and even Hardaway had another big game last time.
His name is Tim Hardaway Jr. Mike, have you ever heard of him?
Knicks for $70 million.
And then Richardson's been up and down, but when they
had a big game the other day, Richardson. He had like 27, I think, in their last win. So he's getting there. He's getting there just
for the last game. But I think you'd agree with this, Gino. If KP and Luka are right, and they just get one really good game out of those guys, that's usually enough for them to win.
Yeah, again, as I've said time and time again, they need another guy. But for right now, if KP and you have here Luka and KP rolling, ironically, when their pick and roll game is working, that's when they're at their best. So that would be ideal if they could keep that going. And Dallas has looked really good. So I'm feeling a lot better now than I was maybe a month or 2 ago.
Yeah, the tides have turned, and we'll go back to you, Mike. What did you see in this game? You said you had.
So are we at the pick stage?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to make my pick. Dallas. And this is my lock of the night. Career high for Luka, 55.
Wow.
What, the fifth time he said his
for
career
some
high
reason,
this year?
for some reason, I've noticed a trend. And if I get this right, guys, we're Gino. We're going to talk. And I feel like every time someone else drops a big burger like that, he comes and answers the next game. That's just my thing. I think he notices.
I will say that I think if Kawhi goes off, Luka will also go off because it in that same type of trend feels like when one player has big game against Luka, Luka also tends to have a really big game. The most recent one being when Curry dropped 57 and Luka dropped 43 or whatever. So yeah, I mean, 55 would be 9 points above his career high, but that would be pretty freaking awesome. So
Maybe sounds like a lot of fun to watch too.
yeah,
I'm all for it.
me too.
Both of these games we previewed, I can't wait to watch them tonight. I think they're both going to be definitely entertaining, and you would think close. You would think. And then some other NBA news just came down. Small trade here, but the Heat, with Myers Leonard, all the news, he's been in, getting suspended. He's already out for the season. They traded him to the Thunder for Trevor Ariza.
Let's go.
Who hasn't played in a year, but I'm sure he wants to get on the Heat. They're looking at him as kind of a veteran leader.
Yeah.
And Mike made the analogy before, kind of like a James Posey type of move from 06.
Listen, you see old Grosso, I see well rested.
A former New York.
You're gonna throw him and Iguodala on the floor together.
He's actually, yeah, definitely, definitely, dude. That's like reminiscent of Posey and like Peyton. But what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, dude, we need to hang Trevor Ariza's jersey up in the rafters in the Knicks, just because of the great career he had, and they drafted him. It was like the
second round pick out of UCLA.
I think it might have been the only great pick in the last prior
Since
to
Ewing.
Yeah, definitely. Look at that court behind you, Barnes.
Yeah, that's fresh. I can't wait to go shoot after the show.
Oh yeah.
Oh baby.
But we'll see if that helps them out. At all. The Heat have been rolling. I think they have the best record in the last 12 games. They might be 11-1.
It's a trend of their second half season. Their second half team.
We saw them catch fire in the bubble last year, so I think
Jimmy buckets.
they're a team to watch out for. Butler's always leading the troops.
That's all. That's been Spoelstra's thing though. When he won Coach of the Year a couple years ago, he was like he shared it that year. I forgot with who. I think it was D'Antoni.
Mm-hmm.
And
another former New York Knicks great coach.
The only thing he delivered was Linsanity. But
he was just a witness for that.
Yeah, dude. He was like, "Yo, please, I'm about to lose my job." But what was I even saying now? You guys got me sidetracked.
D'Antoni.
No,
I don't know.
The draft pick.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He needs to be in the guard.
Trevor Ariza, something second round.
Spoelstra.
Yep.
He's a second half team coach. Like he gets them. He gets everything figured out in the first half, keeps them hovering, and then he locks them in for the fourth or third.
Just like that.
And then also, oh no, go ahead, Gino.
No, yeah, I mean, also they were one of those teams that the Heat were dealing with that COVID stuff. They had a lot of players out due to COVID, so that also I would imagine plays into their kind of resurgence around this time. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And then just some other quick NBA things. I just saw this notification. Kyrie, I guess they're saying groin injury, won't play tonight against the Pacers. So Harden will have to lead the way himself. And last time it was just Harden. He did lose to Dallas, but the Pacers have looked awful this year. So I would expect, the Nets still be able to find a way to win.
I don't think James Harden is going to have any problem leading the way. I think he's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, he's back to his 40 shot ways.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to chuck up like 25 threes tonight.
Dude, he's going to have a 50 burger as well.
Yeah. And then
take 50 shots.
On kind of a somber note, I just got a notification before the show.
Yeah.
Former Dallas Mavericks center Sean Bradley, I guess it just came out that he had a bike accident in January and he spent the last 8 weeks trying to rehab. He has a long road ahead, and right now he's paralyzed. So you hate to hear something like that. And he's one of the tallest players ever, right?
I think he was 7'7",
7'7",
right?
7'6", and we were actually just talking about this, how it's hard for those tall guys to. Yeah, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, Monday. We were talking about it was hard for those tall guys to live long, healthy lives, and we said, Sean Bradley's still going. So that's sad to hear. That is really sad to hear.
Obviously, prayers to him and his family, and hopefully recovery there, of course.
Yeah.
And then some NFL news. Yesterday it came down. Trent Williams, 6 years, $138 million with the Niners. I think that might be the largest contract for a lineman in NFL history. So big signing there. But these left tackles, they don't grow on trees. So I think that's a move they had to make. So I think that makes sense.
I think Mike added the extra $10 million in.
He
added that, right?
I saw you freaking smirk.
You sent the extra $10 million?
I just direct deposited it.
I mean, he's playing in California. That's going to come out in taxes anyway. So
exactly.
And then also it came down today. AJ Greene joining the Cardinals.
What are your thoughts on the Trent Williams signing?
They're
a Greene signing. We can do a double bonus.
But yeah, the Trent Williams signing obviously is a shit ton of money. That's a ton of money. But I mean, again, like offensive linemen are so important in today's in the NFL. So I think you got to lock down your offensive linemen. On the other hand, AJ Greene, they're going to be so good, right? Like they're probably going to be so good. Like they got JJ Watt. They've locked down a couple other guys defensively. Now they have locked down DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Greene on that side of the ball with Kyler Murray. I think, do they still have Kenyon Drake too? I mean, that team is going to take a big step forward this year.
Yeah, and the best part about it is, I mean, of course, everyone says, AJ Greene, he's not what he used to be. But as your third receiver, I think he's going to do just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. So I can't imagine that's going to be a problem.
Fitzgerald, I think, is going to play one more year.
Yeah, he just signed with Washington, right? The Redskins?
No, that's Fitzpatrick.
Oh, Fitzpatrick. That's
funny.
Oh, come on.
In the nation's capital.
Dude, you want to talk about a highlight reel? You want to talk about they're winning the NFC? Sorry, Giants fans. You thought you had it, but now you don't. Fitzmagic is taking the NFC.
It's going to be his 9th team, Fitzpatrick.
You know what's funny? We should get all of his jerseys.
Prioritize the
Fitzpatrick wall.
Best quarterback we've had since Testaverde?
Yeah. I mean, Testaverde is the GOAT, I would say, of the league in the history. Just the swag to come out at 42 years old, was it? He was on his couch. He got the call. Who could do that? No one.
And then, also, I guess it came out, Raiders added John Brown after the Bills released him. So they pick up a weapon for presumably Derek Carr. There was some talk they might move him, but I guess, they're going to keep him. And then surprisingly releasing Rodney Hudson, the offensive lineman. So in getting a big dead cap charge, so some kind of questionable moves there for the Raiders, and I think this is a big year for them in terms of 4th year of Gruden, 3rd year of Mayock. I mean, they really have to make the playoffs here. I mean, I know Gruden has the 10-year. I think there's a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of pressure, especially after how last season went and how it ended. I think Gruden's got to make up for some of the problems that came about last year. So, at the end of the season, I think he's got to figure it out. But I mean, completely revamping your offensive line, who was actually pretty solid. They were pretty solid for most of the season. I feel like that's probably not the best decision.
Yeah, they traded Trent Brown, to the Patriots, and then the only guy coming back who's probably their best offensive lineman, Colton Miller, the former first-round pick. So at least he's still there, but it definitely question why you would mess with something that's worked out pretty well. And then other than that, in the NFL, it actually came out this morning. There's some accusations for Deshaun Watson about being inappropriate at a massage parlor. He's vehemently denied these accusations, but that is just something I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I thought it was like a fake story.
Well, here's my counter argument to this. I listen. I think before I continue, I think all of these accusations obviously should be taken very seriously because this is a very serious matter if that's the case. But this screams Houston just putting a story out there to try and, make his value low or make teams not want him, especially after everything that's been going on. I mean, let's be honest, Houston isn't exactly a top of the line, respectable organization. So
they're cheaters.
It's
the billion paying someone off, Gino. You're right.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if something like that happened or this case gets dropped very soon. It seems like one of those bad stories that gets dropped out of nowhere to give leverage back to the team.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, just Watson. I mean, of course, you don't know guys personally,
exactly,
but he does one of the better, character guys in the league. So that's why I just was, shocked to see it. And also, they're saying the Panthers are locked in on trying to get him. And they're talking maybe, if they were able to work out something, of course, there'd be a lot of draft picks, but possibly McCaffrey, going to the Texans. But I just think I just feel like the Jets and the Dolphins just have far and away the best, packages that they could offer. So I don't see why the Texans.
I mean, if you're, I think I'm
go ahead,
a little bit, Barnes, but okay, cool. If the Panthers are going to give up McCaffrey, I think that's a terrible move. I think that's just an awful move. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I feel like I feel like McCaffrey is definitely worth more to the Panthers than getting Deshaun Watson. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. We'll see how those dominoes fall. You'd expect something to, go down before the draft, but we will see. And we are going to go to Mike, who has an exciting reveal going on. No Pokemon today, but he has something else.
Is Barnes frozen, boys?
Yeah, Barnes is a little bit frozen there, but he looks beautiful. Oh,
he does.
My face. He's frozen again, but he still looks beautiful. So does those beautiful bottles of liquor on the table there. But I'm currently now here.
No, still same position.
So we're having technical difficulties. So I'll talk to you about. There we go. We can see Mike now.
Hey. And
there we go.
Barnes is back.
There.
All right, guys, have no fear. We have something new to steer you to having some fun in your life. Gino actually, brought this up, and he's like, we should do this and go halves and start getting these packs. So they're hard to find, but
yeah, not easy at all.
We got a 2020 Panini Prism draft pick with the Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball class. So we're gonna do 1A. We're gonna do 1A. There we go. Look at that. We're gonna do day, and there's 4 cards in each pack. So while I open this up for you guys, Gino is gonna take it away and explain this market and all about it.
Yeah. So as Mike opens these beautiful cards up, obviously trading cards and NBA Top Shot, they've been kind of a thing that's been popping up recently now as something to buy and get invested in and whatnot. Panini Prisms, if you're talking about NBA, that's those are like the top of the line stuff. That's what you want to get. Those are the most traded cards right now. And these are the draft pick cards, which are going for, I guess, a little bit less than the new Panini Prisms that just came out. They just released the official packs with, these rookies in their jerseys on their teams. But this is basically the next best thing. And as you can see, Mike is going through these lovely packs here. And LaMelo Ball obviously is hot right now. So hopefully we draw him in one of these packs. That'd be pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun to get involved in, and we kind of have really, jumped on this train. And yeah. So Mike, do you want to open a pack?
Let's do it. Hopefully it doesn't freeze right now, and if it does, I'll be sad.
Yeah.
1, 2. Oh, jeez. It's my first time, everybody. All right, here we go. Look at that. Hear that? Oh,
Oh, you froze.
oh no.
Toss him over here.
Oh, I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's just ASMR now.
Oh yeah.
What's Tony doing over there?
Close out the stream from here. All right, so I'm gonna start with the bottom deck of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, sorry, we're gonna flip it up. Sorry, dude.
Who? That's a dope card. Who is that?
It is
Isaac Okoro?
Crusade card. Any Prism.
Yeah, dude, that's a really cool card. Though, so the
Isaac
chrome
Okoro?
ones, the chrome ones go for more too. The chrome ones are good. Yeah, it's Isaac Okoro.
Nice.
Yeah, the chrome ones are even better too in terms of value. So that at least that's what it looks like to me, is a little chrome. So that's a really good card.
Yeah,
It's a really
nice.
cool card.
Okoro's a good player too. He's just in Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just in Cleveland. Hey, they got some young talent there. They've got some
They
young
do. They do.
Again,
Okoro's part of that.
we're going to go back real quick. If it freezes, I'll just stop.
back to the Magic.
Okay. And then the next one is Jameis Ramsey. James Ramsey. Jameis Ramsey. It's his name spelled different, you know that?
Jalen Ramsey.
Weird. That's not bad.
Oh,
James
that's not
Ramsey's
bad. Yeah,
a
that's
pretty
nice.
good player.
Dude, the holographic is sick.
yeah, and obviously you see up in the top right there, if Mike turns and gets unfrozen, if you flip the card around, you'll see the rookie card badge up in the top right corner.
Yeah.
That obviously indicates what the rookie cards are and whatnot. So
Hayden Pritchard is the next one.
The Celtic.
oh,
Great. I like that one, honestly. He could be – I could see him winning a Sixth Man of the Year or more.
He gets minutes.
yeah, he does. I don't know. Maybe he reminds me a little bit too much of TJ McConnell and just kind of like the way he plays and whatnot. But he
feel like
can
he's
definitely be good.
Though.
And then the last one in this pack, guys, is another Okoro.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the other
okay.
Okoro, the first Okoro, I think was better. I think the first Okoro was better. So, yeah, that one's freaking awesome. But yeah, so we got honestly some cool cards. Okoro's a good draw. I like Okoro. Yeah. So that's the one. I'm kind of jealous that we're waiting each day to open them all. So obviously tomorrow we'll get to see what else we got.
Yeah, and that'll be a nice, in addition to revealing our bracket tomorrow. So it's really gonna be a fun show tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. And other than that, I think that will do it for today. Any closing words, fellas?
I got one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do we got?
Another great game from last night. Boston, Utah played, and down the stretch, Donovan Mitchell hit 2 huge threes to pretty much secure the game for the Jazz. And he played horrible for the first 44 minutes or so of that game. So we've talked about guys kind of like converting from a star to a superstar. So for him to go out in the last few minutes and make those huge shots to get his team the victory, I think that's a superstar move by Donovan Mitchell. So props to him. And that's it.
I agree.
And actually, one other thing I would like to add, LaMelo Ball, I believe it was either late last night or early today, said he didn't really grow up like that. He's not excited to play against LeBron. So tomorrow, the Lakers are going to be hosting the Hornets. So I'm going to just make this prediction now. LeBron, 40-point triple-double. LaMelo held under 15 points. Lock of the night, a day early.
I love it.
In. Lock it in. I agree with you.
You have one more, or are you good?
Yeah. I'll go to my Titans. They obviously, I was freaking out yesterday. They did sign Janoris Jenkins, which debuffed our theory of going youthful. But it seems that they let go of Adoree Jackson so they can keep Jayon Brown, which I'm kind of cool with, because they kept Jayon Brown for 1 year, $5.25 million. Jayon Brown has been a very good inside linebacker for the Titans. So that's my one thing.
I love it. Guys, thank you as always. Stay tuned. We will be back tomorrow again. Like, subscribe, and share.